Okay, so we're studying a sutta called Sigalo Vada Sutta. The title is written there, right? For those who are new, who just came, Sigala is the name of the young man to whom the Buddha is teaching, Sigala. Sigala is the name of a very clever animal, a jackal, like a fox. Yeah? Because the ancient Indians, they have many of the names are named after very clever animals. Thank you. Then Vada, you can see, the hyphen means there's a letter missing, like English apostrophe. So there's A is missing, Sigala. Okay? So when you combine, you say Sigalo Vada. Okay? Vada means advice. Right? And Sutta means thread. That's the literal meaning. Thread means something that continues, just like on social media when you talk, there are many threads, So if you start adding other things outside the thread, then people will scold you and say, hey, keep to the thread. So the thread is a string of teachings that goes back to the Buddha's time. That is why this sutta is really wonderful. Can you imagine a teaching that is 2,600 years old and is still in front of us, So that alone is amazing. Yeah? And this is called early Buddhism. Early Buddhism, that means the teaching of the Buddha himself in India. The teachings are usually very simple in words. But if you study sutta for many, many years, you find some of the suttas, although the words are simple, the meaning is very deep. I have spent about 50 years. I am 78, I think, right?
Wait,
no, sorry. I'm 68, sorry. I always forget my age.
Still young.
I'm 68. So I spent, can you imagine, like more or less 15 years old, I started studying Buddhism. I started giving talks before I was still in secondary school. So that was like 50 years, studying Buddhism. And I really had to struggle to know Buddhism. We don't have books like this, Imagine 50 years ago, no books. So I have to go around, ask all the monks, and the monks got very scared of me. After that, they see me, they say, hey, go to that monk, he's clever, ask questions. So now you have all the suttas in front of you, all the teachings, very easy. And over the 50 years, you find I start, like this sutta, I've been teaching, I've lost count a lot of times. So some of the teachings, words are very simple, but the meaning is very deep. Now there are two reasons why we study sutta. Number one is, of course, to be happy, to be a lay person and be happy. The second reason is to meditate better. We can, do our meditation, and then that way we can attain some level of peace. Right? I will talk more about that towards the end, before we finish. So today's sutta is about a young man. Remember last week we studied how this young man is not very keen to go to temple, doesn't want to listen to the monks. But the parents are saints, the parents are stream winners. They have attained this first stage, sainthood. In other words, they are on the way to awakening, to become like Buddha, like that. At the most, 7 more lives, or within 7 lives, sure to awaken. No more suffering. Yeah? So they are very wise. They don't want to force the son to do anything, but they told the son, hey, after we die, you please remember us by worshipping the 6 directions. You see, the wonderful thing is Buddhists don't worship 6 directions, but this one, the parents purposely make the son do it because it's a skillful means. We call it honest trick, or moral trick, or something useful to bring the person halfway so you can meet the Buddha. Now, skillful means is found in many teachings in Buddhism, but remember, skillful means in early Buddhism, the Buddha will never lie. We never use any kind of lying. The Buddhists always use some kind of truth. No? So the son worships the 6 directions, and then the Buddha comes along and asks these Indians, they will go to the river, wash themselves, and then dress themselves. You can't dry yourself after the river, so you're wet and dripping. And wet and dripping, he stand in the middle of the open air. They still do this in India. And they start worshipping all the 6 directions, facing the east, right? And they got all their gods there. East, and then south, west, north, direction below, direction above, 6 directions. So Buddha comes along and asks, "What are you doing?" The young man said, "Well, I'm following my parents' last instructions. I'm worshipping the 6 directions." Then the Buddha said, "It's not the way. It's not the right way." Now, the good thing is this young man is intelligent. He respects the Buddha. So he asked the Buddha, "Please tell me, what are the 6 directions?" The Buddha said, "Okay, listen carefully. I will tell you." So the story starts there. So now this sutta is in 3 parts. Okay, we finished first part 1 last week. Part 1 is, remember, about how we must protect our wealth. Very simple, very clear, mundane teachings. Because the young man, he has a new house, he has got to learn how to keep his wealth. For lay people, wealth is very important, because if you don't have wealth, then how are you going to be happy? You don't have wealth, you can't support the monks. If you don't support the monks, there will be no monks. So there is this kind of hierarchy, if you like. The monks are totally dependent on lay people. No security. This is the definition of being a monk. The monk has no economic security. To speak in a traditional way, proper way, monks don't have money, no cars. They just wear their robes, they got their bowl, maybe they have a little hut, or nowadays we build temples for them, and if they are sick, we take care of them. That's our 4 supports. But that's the original idea the Buddha taught about the monks. So the idea is to live a very simple life, so that they can awaken, they can become like Buddha in this life itself, if possible. If not, some future lifetime. Right? That's the idea of becoming a monk. Renunciation. In other words, you have a chance to get out of the world. You see, Buddha's time is very similar to like modern time. India was becoming very rich. Iron Age. It's called the Iron Age. They discovered iron in India. So with iron you can make weapons, you can make tools, you can make good ships. And the kings are beginning to be very powerful because they got iron weapons. So the first empire started during Buddha's time. In other words, people are becoming rich. If you are rich, you got a lot of time, a lot of things, and you have a lot of time, that means you also got more time to worry. You can start thinking, I have my money, what's going to happen to it? And then some people say, "Oh, what do I do after this? What's the meaning of life?" And then some people will say, I don't know how to make money, and they give up. So all kinds of problems, We have that kind of situation in India. So you have a lot of people, they simply give up. They don't want to get involved with the world. They are called wanderers. They wander about, like hippies. Okay? So they're called wanderers, paribhajika in Pali, they're wanderers. They are usually intelligent people, and some of them are very good. They are good teachers. They like to debate. Because, you know why they like to debate? So that they show they're clever, and then they get support from the public, they get food, and so on. Even in India today, if you don't want to work, you don't have to cut your hair today, India. You keep your hair long, and make sure you don't wash it. And then you roll up your hair, and then you wear, usually orange, or any color, except you must be different from the ordinary person. And you go to where all the holy men are. And then at certain times, a lot of people will bring food. Then you get free food. This tradition is still there in India today. Alright? So these are the wanderers. So these wanderers, some of them are serious, so they listen to the Buddha and then they become wise. Sariputta, Moggallana were 2 wanderers. They were wanderers at first. Then they listened to Buddha, wow, their lives totally changed. Can you imagine just listening? Their lives can change. And we are listening to the same suttas, That is why it's very important to listen to the sutta as it is, properly. Not to mix it up with too many things. Then you don't hear the Buddha, you're hearing me, you're hearing the speaker who knows nothing, not enlightened, So at least like, if you are a Dhamma speaker, you become like a messenger. Even though you're not enlightened, you're not awakened, you still pass the message. And there is one sutta which says sometimes even when you teach, if you focus, you also get deep understanding. It helps you to reach awakening faster also. So the many occasion your life can change, become better. It's just like planting seeds. You may think now, wow, very deep, I can't understand. It's okay. This is first round, second round, third round. And this is a wonderful program which you run again and again, and then slowly you understand better over the years. Okay? Even now, sometimes for me, some of the ideas, I find that, wow, I need to correct it, fine-tune it, some of the deeper ideas. So, the Dharma Buddha's teaching is like that. You go on learning, lifelong learning. Not only lifelong, many lives long. So, you study now, you are planting the seeds. Next life, you continue like that. So, you become wiser next life. In fact, the fact you are sitting here peacefully, able to go through the sutta, you have done a lot of wonderful good deeds, Otherwise, you say you have found all kinds of excuses you don't want to study the suttas. So in the past life, you must have studied suttas also, right? So here we are continuing this wonderful tradition of doing good. Yeah? So this Buddha talks to a young man and listen carefully, and then the Buddha told him how to keep his wealth, protect his wealth. That's last week's story. No? So if you don't have this book, you collect, you go home, you read the first part. The first part from page 27 to 32. Okay, you can earmark the book if you like. Okay, write notes on this book. Don't worry, we got some more free books. So your book spoiled, come and get new one. Okay, today we're going to page 32. The 4 false friends and the 4 true friends. This is a very wonderful teaching. Notice nothing about what all the observing precepts or meditation, just very simple things about friendship. So you see there are many things in Buddhism, not just meditation, but this is very important, because if you have the wrong kind of friends, you will not be able to study the Dharma properly. Right? Some friends will tell you, why you want to go for sutta? Join me for mahjong today lah, just one kaki shot, And then there goes your chance to awaken. That's Mara's voice calling you away. We don't want that. Say, sorry, I want to go for this, because it's not easy to get sutta study, So now this sutta is very systematic. The Buddha gives in sets. The Indians have this systematic way of teaching. One reason is because all these are chanted, no books, so they must put everything in a nice set, so when they chant it's very easy. So you got 4 false friends, and then for every false friend there are 4 qualities, and then there are 4 good friends, the opposite of it. There are 4 qualities. So whenever the Buddha talks something negative, he will always end up with something positive, right? Okay, let's look at what are other kinds of false friends. Look at the bottom of page 32. False friends, section 15:1-5. Young house lord. Okay, that's the Buddha calling this Sigala. Okay, it's a young house lord, because he's a lord of a house. There are these 4 who should be known as enemies in the guise of friends, right? So they appear as friends, but actually they will cause you a lot of problems. So be very careful, right? Number 1, the downright taker. Young house lord should be known as an enemy in the guise of a friend. That means not true friend. Like a snake in the grass, we say. A wolf in sheep's clothing. There are many ways of saying it. Number 1, downright taker. Okay, so just remember the word, not described yet. Number 2, the mere talker. Talk only. All right. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Number 3, the sweet talker. Okay, sweet talker. And number 4, the destructive companion. Okay, these are the 4 dangerous kind of friends, alright? So, these are the 4 people the Buddha says you should know them as an enemy. Keep away from them, alright? Now, before I go on to tell you what they are, we have to understand these teachings is not to find fault with people, You don't go around and say, hey, you are like this, you are like that. It's not like that. It's rather like the Buddha is sharing with us his own experience. He's saying just the things you got to watch out when you go around mixing with people. In other words, these are skills we use to read the signs of danger. Once you notice people are like this, then you keep away. You don't get caught, Very often people get into trouble and then they come to you, they come to your friends, they come to you, they say, hey, I got this problem, I got that problem. Isn't it better to prevent the problem, right? So this is preventive, in other words, yeah? It's not meant for judging people. Analyze, yes. And of course, if you are a Dharma teacher, you can't tell people, even you cannot keep away from them, they'll come to you. So you have to teach them, all right? So if you're a lay person, you're not a teacher, you have more choices, okay? So let's look at what kind of people are there. Number one, that is section 16. Who is the downright taker? He's an enemy who is disguised as a friend. Number one, he only takes without ever giving. Alright? So that's why you see in Asia, our New Year especially, there are a lot of exchange of gifts. We always feel very uneasy. If someone gives us something, we never give back. Especially Chinese New Year. And normally we give back more. And there's a bit of fight, And then in the end, it's the children who benefit. A lot of nice things to it. Okay. So this idea of giving is a very important custom tradition in Asia because of Buddhism. Alright? Buddhism was in China hundreds of years ago, very deep in the culture. And then number two, with little, he desires much. We call this fishing. You give a bit, but you expect much in return. Okay? And then number three, he does what needs doing only out of fear. Alright, only when he's afraid of getting into trouble, only he does things. So that means no love, no friendship. This kind of person not very happy. Then number four, he serves with an ulterior motive. There's always something there. Alright? So we all know such people. There's always somebody in our life, maybe more than one, like this. Okay? But remember, the sutta doesn't tell you hate this person. The sutta is telling you be careful of this person. Enemy here means they can bring you a lot of trouble. That's the meaning. But remember, in the loving kindness meditation, even the enemy has got a place in our meditation. Remember, what is the position of the enemy in loving kindness meditation? Can you remember? The first in loving kindness, first we think of ourselves. May I be well and happy, right? Second person is your best friend. You think of a kind, wonderful person. Okay? Usually, the second person cannot be your wife, girlfriend, or because that's too close. You think of a relative, a friend, or a teacher who is very kind to you. Okay, second stage. Third stage to everyone, neutral person. The fourth stage is the enemy. The fourth stage is someone you don't like, someone doesn't like you. In your loving kindness, when your loving kindness is strong, then you tell this person, you picture this person, may you be well, may you be happy, I forgive you, something like that. Okay, you do this when your mind is clear. If you find that person still difficult, it hurts you, even in your meditation, then you should not think of that person, not ready yet. Okay, I remember in our public meditation, in fact this Friday we have another class. Long ago, many years ago, I used to teach all the four stages. So all these people sitting now meditate. When you reach they're all smiling, When you reach the fourth stage, think of enemy, everybody start looking glum, not happy, because they don't like to think of someone, an enemy. They say, why should I wish him happy? So after that, for beginners, I don't teach them the fourth stage, but later on I tell them, if you notice this kind of person, this is what you do. If you cannot handle them, then push them aside, think of happy people. Later on, when your loving kindness is very strong, when you're very happy, you are so happy that you can forgive even these people who have hurt you, then you have healed yourself. In other words, this person who has harmed you, who has hurt you, is no more there, see? What is troubling you is your memory, it's the wound inside you, see? So when your wound heals, then you are not troubled anymore. So the meditation heals your wound, loving kindness. Okay, so that's the enemy. Enemy doesn't mean totally bad person. It means this person is not happy. This person has a problem. If you're happy, you won't do all these bad things. People who are happy will not break the precepts, right? That is why practicing loving kindness is very important. If you are happy, you have loving kindness, you are sure to keep the precepts more easily. So how to be happy? First thing you get up, or easier is before you go to bed, smile. As you're lying down, you close your eyes, just smile. It's okay, nobody is going to look at you. Just smile. If you can't want to smile physically, also can, or smile inside. It's more important. Okay. Fall asleep smiling. And then say happy things. Simple few words. May I be well, may I be happy, my family be well and happy. Yeah? You know, we do a lot every day we all do metta in our house. We do it so much that the cat follows us around. So when we sleep, the cat also come and sleep with us. Because our bed, there's a bunk at the top, so the cat all go to the top and sleep there. So, and sometimes the cat sleep on my stomach also. Because it kind of, likes the loving kindness, feel very safe, right? So loving kindness is the most wonderful power you can have to make friends. In fact, the word metta is very close to the word mita, meaning friend. Okay, so don't think about negative things when people try to hurt you. Reply with loving kindness. Then you won't be hurt. Okay. So these are the 4 qualities of a downright taker. Just take things but don't give you. But as Buddhists, when we give things, we try not to think of what we are going to get. Right? That's called dana. Right? For example, you give dana to the monks, to the nuns, to the needy. You give without expecting any returns. In fact, you don't even think of the merits, because some people they start thinking of the merits. Then it's some kind of negotiation, Of course, you get merits, you do good, the reward will be there, good karma. But if you don't think like that, the reward is even bigger and better. In other words, your good action becomes natural. Then the Buddha says, the one who gives is always loved. The word for love here is Piya. Loved, it's my name. You're loved, People remember you. In other words, giving is always a happy thing. So you give to someone, there's no reason to give. You can say, well, I got extra, I give you because I like you and I think it's good for you. And the person think of you and I say, wow, this person gave me something useful. I was very happy. Okay? So that's how dana is related to metta, loving kindness, right? So giving is the basic practice in Buddhism. That's why this is put number 1, you see. This person who takes away, doesn't give. And also sometimes, we try to help people, we give things to them, they don't seem to appreciate it, they don't seem to give back. It's okay. You should say thank you for receiving. Because you have corrected my bad karma, my past karma. Maybe in the past we did something wrong or so now the person doesn't give back, it's okay. Because our karma is such, we won't get it. It's not fate here, it's just that we feel that's a good excuse rather than blaming anyone. We say it's okay, maybe it's just not time for me to get it, it's not time for you to give, doesn't matter. We don't have to demand. Then you find people who like you. And moreover, it's not really a big deal, we say. Because you want to be happy, you want to be good, there are many ways of doing it. Okay? Remember, when the Buddha gave, the Buddha never expect anything in return. The Buddha has been teaching us Dharma. Imagine when we say the Buddha teaches us 45 years, it means he teaches every day, No rest, The Buddha doesn't say, I'm going for a holiday, Of course, the Buddha, if he does want to go away, he will go on a silent, lone retreat. He does that. Sometimes rains retreat, He may do that, but not so often. So can you imagine in one day how many times the Buddha teach? There's no timetable, He wakes up in the morning, he go on alms round, too early to go into the city, he will visit some wanderers, talk to them, and then they always ask him questions. So there goes the once long sutta. And after that, after lunch, people will come, another talk. And then evening, the lay people will come to the temple, long talk. Then everyone go back. 10 to 2 a.m., the devas come. some more talks. So the Buddha is giving lots of Dhamma talks every day, and it is said that the Buddha only sleeps around, say, like 2 to 4, or 2 hours, maybe 4 hours. Of course, the Buddha could do that because he practices deep meditation. When you go into deep meditation, jhana meditation, very deep, it is deeper than sleep, even more, even better rest. So the Buddha could do that. And he lived up to a ripe age of 80 years. For 45 years he went on teaching without asking for anything in return, except he tells you practice until you get enlightened, get awakened. "17. The mere talker should be regarded as an enemy in the guise of a friend. A. He claims to having been hospitable in the past, right? So he reminds you in the past what good things he has done for you and so on. Okay, like a politician, huh? B. He promises hospitality in the future. He say, oh, if you need any help, you please come anytime. Okay. C. He worms his way with empty favors, right? He will make a lot of promises, but nothing done. Number 4. In present tasks, he feigns misfortune. That means, if you really need help, you go to him. You say, "Oh yeah, you come at the wrong time. I also have got bigger problem." Okay? Every time you go, you have this kind of excuse. All right. Sometimes I get quite worried when I teach the sutta. I said, now I hope people don't learn these things. These are not things we do. All right. These are things we don't want to do. But this is something we have to watch out. We know, oh, this person, it's just a mere talker. He doesn't really do what he says. So next time you don't go to him for help. You avoid him, in other words. Okay. Next one, number 18. The sweet talker. Oh, this is even more tricky, huh? The sweet talker. He approves of your doing wrong. He approves of your doing right. Or disapproves of it depending on what profits him. Okay? So you say, I'm your friend. You do right or wrong, I'm your friend. Okay? He sings your praises to your face. So I say nice thing in front of you. He runs you down behind your back. But behind you, he talks bad about you. Okay? So there you are. This is the false friend also. Now, there's something interesting here. Someone who approves of your doing wrong or approves of your doing right. Someone may ask, what about loving parents? Parents, whether the children do something right or wrong, the parents, especially the mother, will still love the child. So what's the difference here? Well, there's a big difference. In the case of the mother, there is love. Love means the mother knows this child can change. Right? And moreover, this mother knows the child for so long, carried the child for 9 months, and then hope that the child will change. It's like Angulimala's mother, when the king wanted to capture him and kill him, the mother went all the way into the jungle, looked for him, to warn him, Angulimala. But this Angulimala was already a murderer. At that time, he's going to kill his mother. So the mother was not worried about that. All the mother thinks is, my son. The king is going to kill my son. So he wants to go and warn this serial killer in the jungle. And at the same time, the Buddha also came along. Luckily, So the Buddha met Angulimala first and helped Angulimala. So mother's love is like that. Whether the son is good or bad mother, the good mother still cares for the son. Whereas this false friend is different. He just say yes to you to, win you your favor, curry favor, as I say. So this is the mere talker. 18, sweet talker. So I already read to you sweet talker. 18. 19, next page. The destructive companion. Okay, this is the fourth and very dangerous one. He is your companion in taking strong drinks, distilled drinks, fermented drinks, that which causes heedlessness. Right? This is the bottle friend. He is your companion in roaming and loitering the streets in unseemly hours. See, those days, at night, it's not safe. So usually, people don't go out at night. because we're talking about India a long time ago, pre-modern times. You know, in ancient India, the night time, the time are divided into three parts. 6 after sunset, 6 to 10 is called the first watch. That means the soldiers will guard the fort, first round. Okay? And then 10 to 2, second watch, right? And then 2 to 6, third, last watch. First watch, middle watch, last watch. That's how you get the word watch. No? At first it means they all jaga, the city walls. All right. So people don't roam around in the streets outside the city walls. All right. Not safe. So this is the warning. But even today, we assume Singapore is very safe. But if you go out, even in a safe place, you may invite bad people. Right? So don't take that chance. Next is C. He is your companion in frequenting fairs. In other words, go to places just to waste your time. And then D is your companion in indulging in gambling. See, gambling is mentioned specifically, right? That's why it's good to learn all these things early. So if children in Sunday school learn all this, it's already in their head. Then they know that gambling is wrong. Because very often people go gambling, maybe they never learn all these things. So this is the destructive person. He drinks with you, roams with you, goes to all these wrong places with you, and gambles with you. It's a wrong kind of friend. So then the Buddha closes his teaching with a short verse, summarize everything. The friend who merely takes, and the friend who only talks, and the one who sweet talks, and the companion who brings destruction. These four are not friends. Thus the wise should know. They should be avoided from afar, like a dangerous path. Right? So to avoid them. So you're given the excuse to avoid them. If you don't know what to do, avoid them. Otherwise, you get into trouble. It's more difficult. Okay, that's the sad part, right? Now the happy part. These are our duties, so to speak. All right, the true friends. The Pali word is Hadaya Mitra, the friend of the heart. Hadaya means heart. Very nice name. See, the Hadaya Mitra is something like a normal friend, a friendly, very wonderful person. But the spiritual friend, Kalyana Mitra, is even better, because the Kalyana Mitra normally is your teacher who teaches you meditation usually. But we can also use the term Kalyana Mitra to mean a good friend who teaches you good things. Okay, your true friends are four kinds. Okay, so first the sutta gives you a syllabus. Okay, and then the Buddha will explain one by one. Look at section 21. Number 1 is the helper, upakara, helper. This is the true-hearted friend. See, Suhadaya Bhikkhu, Suhadaya Mitra. Yeah, I think that's the Pali word, right? 84. Can you see the word there? Suhadaya, is it correct? Yeah, Suhada Bhikkhu, Suhada Mitra. Hada is short for Hadaya, meaning heart. True-hearted friend. So we all should be true-hearted friends to each other as Buddhists. Number 1 is the helper. Number 2 is the one constant in joy and in sorrow. Very beautiful word. The same in joy, the same in sorrow. Number 3, the good counselor, the good advisor. Number 4, the caring. So these are very beautiful words, right? The word anukampa also means compassionate. Right? Okay, who is the helper? Let's look at 22. A, he guards you when you are heedless. When you are careless, he guards you. Alright, so this is a wonderful friend. He's watching you. When you make a mistake, he's there. Number 2, he guards your property when you are heedless. When you are something happen or what, you are careless, he looks after your property. Let's say you go somewhere and then you left your wallet, all right, that's property, right? But your good friend take care of it. He is a refuge to you when you are in fear or in danger. See, the Pali word is bahaya. Bahaya can mean fear, can mean danger. In Malay, it's bahaya. In Malay, it means danger. But in Pali, it can mean both. So he removes your fear, any kind of fear. He makes you feel good, comfortable. That's a true-hearted friend. D, when you are faced with tasks, he provides you with double the supplies you need. Oh, this is really wonderful, isn't it? Right? You need, let's say, can I borrow a cup of sugar? He say, oh, here, take 2. Of course, that's not very good if you get diabetes. Anyway, the idea is it's generous. So he'll give you something good, okay? Okay, so this is the one who is very helpful. Alright? So you want to be nice to people? Remember these 4 things. Maybe every month you practice one. And then next one, 23, the one constant in joy and sorrow. A, he tells you his secrets. Oh, this is a wonderful friend, right? He tells you, he says, okay, I'll tell you something. This is just between you and me. Okay, this is how I solve my problem. And then you realize that, wow, I'm not the only one who has a problem. My friend also has a problem. Then you find you don't feel bad about it. So he tells you his secrets. Of course, you must keep the secrets, right? Because number 2, he keeps your secrets. Because when you come to him, you tell him a problem, it's a secret, right? So he keeps your secrets. Even in counseling, there is this rule, moral rule. We don't tell people about what happened to this person. Of course, sometimes as the Dharma speakers, we tell stories. Of course, we don't mention name, we just make up the story. Alright? But in other words, we don't personalize, we don't gossip about other people's problems. Remember, he keeps he tells you his secrets, he keeps your secrets. C, he does not abandon you in time of trouble. He's always there, especially when you're in trouble. And D, he would even give up his life for you. Oh, this one is a really big one. Yeah? Sometimes you don't know. Some friends they look like shy, afraid. But then when you're in real danger, suddenly you have like Superman. He's there to help you. Maybe burning house, go in, drag you out or something. That's really wonderful. That's why the sutta is important. You may say, how am I going to give up my life for my friend? Don't think about it. At the right time, you'll know what to do. The Buddha tells you so. Let's say suddenly your friend's house on fire, and you're standing there. What do I do? What do I do? And then you remember the Buddha said, "The true friend is ready to give up his life. That will make you do something." That's why some teachings appear to be difficult at first, because we don't need to apply it now. But the time will come when we will know what to do, when we need this motivation. Then the Buddha's voice will tell us, go ahead, help this person. If you have too many bad friends, they tell you, why you bother? Wait, they blame you for it. All kind of excuses, right? That is because we live in too much of a crowded society. We don't care about people. We say too many people. It's a terrible thing to say, right? We forget that too many people, you and I are part of them, right? Here's where there's a very beautiful story. This young boy was walking along the seashore, and he laughs at the sea creatures, And these starfishes get washed ashore. They're still alive, but they get washed ashore. Very difficult for them to crawl back. So this boy keeps throwing one by one back into the water. One by one. So many, And then a man walking by comes along and tells the boy, hey, you stupid boy, why are you putting all these starfishes back? So many, die, Then the boy said, hey, don't distract me, lah. This fish, this one is safe. The one that I throw is safe. So even one is important. Because that one person can be you. Right? So imagine, you help this person now, and after that you forget about it. 10, 20 years later, one big, handsome man or beautiful woman comes along and says, hey, uncle, auntie, remember me? You saved my life, I say, wow, it's amazing, your good karma come back, right? So this is how we practice. The Buddha's voice is there, reminding us to do the right thing at the right time. So this is the one who is constant in joy and in sorrow. He does not change whether you are suffering or not. He's the same good friend. Next one, the third kind of friend, section 24, the good counselor, the good advisor. Here's got 4 qualities. A, he restrains you from bad. Right? So you want to do something wrong, he will advise you. Say, don't do it. Okay? B, he exhorts you to do good. He reminds you why doing good is good. C, he lets you hear what you have not heard before, especially listening to the Dharma. Right? Not easy to listen to the Dharma. Right? So here you are, you get it together, you have a chance to listen to the Dharma. Right? The Dharma, although you heard it before, whenever you hear, it's like something new. So we always say, not heard before, because it teaches you something new. You say, oh, I never thought of this before, right? Something like that. D, he shows you the way to heaven. Because this is the old way of saying, he brings you happiness. Because remember, heaven, hell are all in the mind, Right? It's not the body that goes to heaven and go to hell, It's your mind. So, if you do good and you're really happy, heaven is here and now. Right now, as you're sitting here, this is heaven. Another hour will last for 1 more hour. After that, you're back to the human world. You know why I call this heaven? You don't have to work. Number 1, no need to work. Number 2, no need to talk. No need to do anything. You just sit, listen. Very relaxed, very peaceful. Right? So this is heaven. And then you keep the precepts. So you can practice Sila Nusati. Sila Nusati means recollection on moral virtue. Next time you meditate, you can start. You say, okay, today, before the National Day on the 8th of August, around 8 o'clock, I sat peacefully here in this house, and I kept all the 5 precepts. I didn't break a single precept. All the precepts kept perfectly. And then you feel happy and peaceful. Then if you're happy and peaceful, you can meditate. You start like that. That's the seed. You start from that. That's called Sila Nusati. The recollection on moral virtue, on the precepts. Okay? Alright, that is the good counselor. Next one, everything is there. Okay. Then the 4th friend, number 4, section 25, the caring. Here's got 4 qualities. A, he does not delight in your misfortune. Right? If you're suffering, you're sick, person very concerned. B, he delights in your good fortune. This is called mudita, joy. You're happy, he's also happy. He prevents others from speaking ill of you. Right? You talk bad, say, hey, don't talk about him bad, he's my friend. And D, he commends others who speak well of you. Right? So this is very good PR. And he's a true friend. He really talks good about you. So there you are. This is the caring person. These are the 4 kinds of wonderful friends. And then the Buddha closes with a short verse, 4 lines. But here, translated into English, you get 8 lines. The friend who is a helper, and the friend in weal and woe. Okay, weal is the Old English meaning well. I like single sound words which rhyme, weal, woe, both start with W, right? And the friend who gives good counsel, and the caring friend. These 4 are true friends, thus the wise should know. And devotes himself with respect as a child would his parents. Right? Just as a child can depend on the parents, you can depend on the true friend in the same way. And another set of verses. The wise accomplish in moral virtue is keeping the precepts, glows like a fire on a hill, building his wealth the way bees do. Very beautiful, bees go to a flower, take a bit here, a bit there, and never spoil the flower. Now this is very often mentioned in the suttas. When a monk comes to a village, it's like a bee. It just takes a bit here, a bit there, it goes away, it nurtures him, and it benefits the flowers also. His wealth piles up the way an anthill grows. An anthill, beautiful. But the anthill grows very slow. But imagine the ants are working to bit of clay every time, and you get this huge big anthill. So this solid wealth. Having gathered his wealth thus, he is ready for family and home. Well, there you are. The Buddha didn't say become a monk. He said ready to get married. All right. And truly, he binds his friends to himself. This is how you keep your friends together. Don't hold back your friends. This is the way. So, how to make friends and influence people. This is the real one, not that little book you've been reading. When I was young, we had this. Everyone reads this book, Okay. Now comes a very interesting part. The Buddha tells you how to save money. This is the closing of this chapter. Okay, here you are. He divides his wealth into 4. One part he should enjoy. Now we don't know how much is this one part. This is the poetry, so you got to read the whole thing first. Now just remember one part, right? With 2 he invests in his work. Okay, now we have a better idea. 1 part and then 2 parts. That means quarter. And the 4th he should save, should there be any misfortune. Okay, this is Buddhist economics. Now I've drawn a diagram for this. Okay, page 24. Can you see this? Page 24. Alright. So the Buddha is talking about investing here, even in his time, He's telling the young man, he say, okay, 50% of your money, invest. Because Buddha's time there was big business, And many of the ships from the Ganges, they sail down and they come to Southeast Asia, So it's a time of international trade already. You got Indian ships going to Myanmar, Thailand, Malaya, Sumatra, and so on. To Borneo even. They discovered Buddha statues in Borneo also. And the famous 4-line verse, Ye Dhamma Hitu Babawa, and so on. So 50% investment, 25% savings. In case if investment fails, still got 25% savings, okay? And then 25% you spend for yourself. Now this is in this sutta. Then later I found another sutta which divide this quarter into 5 more parts. So you divide 5 more parts. That means 5% you spend for yourself, for your personal use. And another 5% you use for friends. Another 5%, the third part, you use for insurance, security and insurance. In fact, insurance is better than putting money in the bank, I mean, if you don't have much money, it's a better way. Then, number 4, you can make offerings, traditional offerings. This is the 4th part. And the last one is for supporting Dharma work. So if you are a Buddhist, how many percent?
5%.
Only 5%. It's more economical to be a Buddhist, Other religion, 10%. Okay, so there you have an interesting idea of Buddhist economics, Alright? So remember, when someone asks you, where you get all that percentage? It is in this sutta and in this volume, okay? Alright, so we finished today's part, how this young man is advised by the Buddha on the kind of friends. Remember, the first part is about how to protect his wealth. The second part is make sure you have good friends. This is very good advice for young people. I remember one of my friends got married long ago. He printed this book and gave to everybody who come for his wedding. Because this is good advice for young people. So next time any new couples get married, advise us, hey, why don't you print this book? When you get your ang pao, give them a free book. Because this is the advice you need. Once you get married, it's advice for family. People who are starting a new family. Okay, any questions? The next round, we will look at the 6 directions. How to protect the 6 directions. This one is family relationship, number 6. The third part. This is a very simple sutta. So If no question, it's okay. I'm quite happy. Got question also, I'm happy. I'll just make one last remark before we finish. You can see I've written on the board, Visasa Parama Nyati. Okay, this is a Pali, very famous Pali saying. Visasa means familiarity. It means closeness through friendship. Visasa. Parama means the highest. Nyati means relatives. Okay. So Visasa Parama Nyati means when you are familiar with someone, when you are close and kind to each other, then you are truly relatives. Not relatives by blood, but relatives through kindness. People who are kind to us are our true relatives. Now this is a very important theme in Buddhism. Who are our true relatives? Number one, the Buddha says that we have been reborn so many times. In Buddhism, rebirth goes on and on, endless. No? So the Buddha, there are many suttas. For example, the Buddha, in one sutta, it says, we have born so many times, it is impossible to say that we have not been mothers to each other. In another sutta, the Buddha says, we have born so many times, it is impossible, we have not been fathers to each other. And then another one, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, you can imagine, use your own relationship. So the fact that we gather here together, we are somehow related to each other. This is the Buddhist teachings of this global family. Number two, when we are kind to people, that means we are creating good karma. Right? And when we create good karma, we meet in the future, we'll be kind to each other again. By the same token, if you are bad to someone, you will repeat. That's why it's not worth it. So sometimes people are not nice to us. They might even be nasty to us. Remember, this kind of people, we should actually pity them. Remember the principle. If someone is truly happy, they will not hurt other people. If you are truly happy, you don't want to do bad things. That's why being happy is a very important thing in Buddhism. And being happy is a habit you can cultivate, Just like being negative is a habit we cultivate also. We like to think negative things, we behave negative also. You want to know what kind of person you are? You tell me what kind of thought you have before you go to sleep. Now, if you sleep with something unhappy, too bad. Because that's it, your last thought is unhappy thought. And it's not good, because if you don't get up, right, that's what's good. You're going to be reborn with that kind of bad thought, So, you can change this by actually thinking happy thoughts. That's why I always tell people, please do this. In meditation, I like to tell my students two things, Sleep happily, wake happily. Now I say smile also. Sleep happily means you smile to sleep. Think happy thoughts. May I be well, may I be happy. Say those words and feel. You must feel. Feel means direct experience and no thinking. You say, may I be well, you feel it. May I be happy, you feel it. May my family be well and happy, you feel it. May my cats be well and happy. I got 2 cats. I named them one by one. So, you see, when you feel, you fall asleep more easily. You know why people cannot fall asleep? They think too much. They think of this, they think of that, so they can't sleep. Because when you think, you're engaging your senses, you see? And when your senses are engaged, in other words, your senses are still working, your mind is working, your ears are working, and so on. Sometimes the mouth also working, you're still talking in your sleep. So you can't sleep. So you want to sleep, let go of thoughts, feeling, okay? And then next morning you get up, you look back and say, oh, I fell asleep last night. I only said 3 sentences, right? And by the time you reach my age, you don't have to worry, You're so sleepy, you don't have to think anything. You go to bed, plop, you fall asleep already. Right? In fact, now my time of work is getting shorter. I can't work longer like 10 years ago, Of course, sometimes I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I can get up at 4, but I'll be too tired. So I know my time, so I get up at 5 is the earliest. Then I'll work up to 7 or 8. Once I take my breakfast, I got to rest already. So you got to know your time. And as we age, this window of time becomes shorter, but you take more rest, in other words. The sutta books still come out according to schedule, every 3 months one book, but you have your timing is different. So be aware of all that. So this, coming back to these relatives, those who are close to us are those who are kind to us. You know? So when you treat in this way, next time you meet again happily. If people treat you bad, send your loving kindness to them. So next time you meet them, somehow they will change. So if something bad happens to you, tell yourself, it's okay, this is my karma, I'm paying it back, I'm not going to fight back. Something like that. Of course, you have a choice here. Some people say, isn't that being passive and pessimistic? Because, for example, like if husband beats a wife, or wife beats husband, should the partner just take it like that and listen to Buddha's talk, be patient, every time go back and black eyes, Well, there is such a story. One person happened to be like that. So every year, this poor woman gets beaten up, when she goes home, she never answer back. And every time go for Dhamma talk, year in, year out, gets beaten up by the husband. And then one day, the husband suddenly stopped doing it, stopped beating her and say, why don't you fight back? And she said, why should I fight back? Because you beat me because you're not happy, right? So if I can make you happy, then okay, fine, you beat me. But this is what I learned in Buddhism. Husband said, when you learn all this, I learned from the Dhamma. And suddenly a cold sweat swept through the husband. Wow, this is scary, Like, in Sutta, we say like hell door opens suddenly, this person got very scared. Wow, he said, how can I be so wicked to someone who's so loving, So suddenly he felt so bad, And then stopped beating her. So this time, first time in years, this woman goes back for Dhamma class smiling. The teacher asked why you're smiling. Say, oh, my husband stopped beating me. Because I told him the truth. I've been coming for Sutta class. So it can happen that way, you see. Alright? So there are different ways of solving problems. Right? So remember to create this happy atmosphere when you meet people. Buddhism is not just about sitting alone, meditating. Yes, you do that, it's very good. But when you come out of it, use your meditation and bring peace and joy. Don't forget joy to other people. Peace, joy. Okay? So on that note, we will... Do we dedicate marriage first? I think we dedicate marriage first, it's easier, so you can relax, do what you like. Okay, this is a time when we focus our minds and we make a very important aspiration. Aspiration means it's like a wish now. It's stronger than a wish. You say something like, I want this to happen, right? Remember, as Buddhists, we must have a purpose in being a Buddhist. Every religion will tell you what happens to them. Right? They say, oh, I go to heaven. Most of them say they go to heaven. But in Buddhism, we say, oh, heaven is just a backdoor to hell, they say. Because heaven is impermanent, Right? Even all those people who go to heaven, do karma, finish, they drop, they go to suffering state. Right? And it takes a long time to come out of the suffering state. Unless you're a stream winner or you're a saint, then if you go to heaven, you either remain in the heaven, or if you pass away from there, you are reborn in happy states. So it's always happy life. Even if you are born among human beings, you are born in a family where you can meditate, where you are at peace with yourself. Even if you are born in, say, the Middle East, there are people there who are Buddhists. And now on Facebook, you can easily contact other people who are Buddhists. I have people from Africa, from all corners of the world on Facebook, our Dhamma Facebook. So, as Buddhists, we must have an aim in life. From my 50 years of studying Buddhism, I found a very simple answer in chapter 25. S25. Remember this number, because You may want to look it up one day. S means Samyutta Nikaya, that means the collection of connected teachings. Okay, S 25, Samyutta chapter 25, there are 10 suttas there. All the suttas say the same thing. Very short sutta, like one page only. All the suttas are about reflection on impermanence. Very easy meditation. This meditation you don't even have to sit. You can do it any posture. So the Buddha says if you regularly reflect on impermanence, whether you do it out of faith, that means you don't ask questions, you say, oh, I believe this is good, or you do out of wisdom. In other words, you say, oh, I'm going to find out more about this. Either way, the Buddha said, in this life, you will become a stream winner. You will gain the first stage sainthood, the first step on the real path. Okay? So this is the connected discourses of the Buddha, blue cover. Alright? This one is a single volume. My whole one is a double volume thicker paper. So, chapter 25 here. Alright? So, to become a stream winner means you have full faith in the three jewels and you keep your precepts well, naturally. Now, a lot of people say, wow, become stream winner. Isn't that difficult? Not at all. You remember in the Buddha's time, King Bimbisara was a stream winner. There are many merchants who are stream winners. In fact, stream winners are, I think so far, all that I know, they're all lay people, stream winners. Okay? The Arahats are mostly monks and nuns. So, stream winner means you go down into the boat. The Dharma is like a boat, and this boat goes against the stream. The boat doesn't follow the water into the ocean, it goes upstream to Nirvana. So, in other words, when you become a stream winner, you will never be reborn in the four lower states. Four lower state, what? Animal state, the Treta ghost state, hell state, and then the Asura state also. There are four or five of them. So you won't go down into any of the suffering states. Okay? Because if you go down there, it's very hard to come out again. Right? So now you don't automatically become a stream winner. You have to aspire. In other words, you have to practice also. And if you aspire, it helps. In other words, you tell yourself, how do you say this? We do it by an act of truth, we say, act of truth. Sacha-kiriya, act of truth. In other words, you do something good. Like this is a good moment. We didn't kill, we didn't steal, we didn't commit sexual misconduct, we didn't lie, we didn't get drunk. So we say, okay, I've done this good thing today. Alright? By the power of this goodness, by my faith in the three jewels, may I be blessed with the courage and wisdom to aspire to stream winning. Now I word it very carefully in this way, because sometimes we say, what if I'm not strong enough? Okay, I'm just talking about aspire only. I'm talking about, may I have the courage and wisdom to understand what this means, and then, okay, I want to become a stream winner this life. So then you will decide. Okay. Now the Buddha says in the sutta, if you practice, reflect on impermanence, everything impermanent, you reflect that way, then in this life you will become a stream winner. It is the next line that convinced me of this teaching. Next line says, if you don't get it, you don't get stream winning in this life, you will definitely get it at the moment of passing away. When you pass away, you will pass away as a stream winner. Then I said, oh, that makes good sense. You know why? Because when the passing away time, we have no control over our mind. It's like you brake and then the car still moves a bit and then the car stops. That's death when the car stops. So you have no control of that momentum. And that momentum is the one that will make you into a stream winner. In other words, if you must habitually do good karma, like keep your precepts, If you break the precepts, then you reflect, say, oh, why did I do this? And then none of us enjoy breaking our precepts. But the point is, because we are lay people, because we are not perfect, we will somehow break the precepts in one way or another. But we are never happy breaking the precept. We never plan, we never want to break the precept. It happens, and when it happens, you say, oh, what happened? And then you look back, you reflect, you find out what happened. And then you tell yourself, okay, I broke my precept because of these conditions. So now I'm going to remove all these negative conditions. Next time I can keep my precepts better. So you go on building yourself like that. So when you aspire to be a stream winner, that means you're more likely to become it. And then you follow up with a practice of practicing everything's impermanent. You look at yourself, say, oh, I'm impermanent, I'm changing. My friends also impermanent, changing. This gathering also impermanent and changing. And there's one last thing I want to tell you. There are, all these years I've been teaching, I'm talking like a madman, like nobody listening like that. I said, stream winner, nobody say, yeah, good idea, And then one day I received an email from KL. They say, we are a group of lay people who aspire to be stream winners. I said, are these people serious? Are they nuts? So I said, okay, give them a chance. Yeah, I went to meet them in Kuala Lumpur. There were about, I think, 25 of them. All bubbly, happy, people like you, And I said, are you serious? They said, yeah, we are serious. So I gave them actually, they just tell me they want sutta. That's enough. For me, imagine sutta will go already. So I said, okay, show me how serious you are. So then they'll start telling me, they say, many of us have been coming to this big temple for 20 over years, All they teach us is transfer merits, do chanting, all those things, rituals. How come they never teach us this stream winning? The Buddha telling us all this very simple. You just reflect impermanence, you can become stream winner. And that's what we want to become, because otherwise the Buddhists got no goal, no aim at all. You don't know where you're going, Yeah, maybe you say heaven. I don't want to go to hell, but I don't know. Nirvana, don't talk about it, Right? So we have no goal. But now we are very clear. I'm very clear. Right? No, very clear. We know where we are going, because of this aspiration. So these 25 people were very happy. They said, now we have a purpose. And there are also a few monks in Malaysia who also teach this. So I'm very happy for them. So you have this group, 25 of them last year, and then this year we went another 10, 35. I said, wow, very good, very happy for them. This is where I'm very happy to see local people that are actually serious about the Dharma as practice, not as rituals. So this is the meaning of aspiring to be a stream winner. Okay? So stream winner means the first step to really walking on the Eightfold Path, so that you will reach the goal that the Buddha also reached in time to come. Maybe not next life, within 7 lives, but you will not go into the suffering states. You will live just as you are. You will look just as you are, but you'll be a better person. You may get angry, but you'll be very careful after that. You'll say, oh, why did I get angry? So, just like ordinary person, but very much better person. That's the meaning of aspiring to stream winning. Yeah? Okay? Clear enough, huh? Okay? Good. Alright. Now I want you to just clear your mind of everything else. Just remember this very wonderful, peaceful moment that we all have kept our precepts very well for this hour or so, and we've gathered together with only one aim, to study the suttas, and we have completed studying the suttas out of faith in the Buddha, the Buddha's teaching, and the saints who have followed his teachings, the 3 jewels. And we rejoice in the fact that the Buddha's teaching is still with us today after 2,500 years. And we have this wonderful chance to study the sutta in its original forms. and we have sacrificed our time to do justice. And this is a very wonderful, very meritorious deed, very good deed. By the power of this very good action, by our faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, may we be blessed with the wisdom and courage to aspire to be stream winners in this life itself. And by the same token, by the power of the three jewels, let us send out our loving kindness to ourselves that we be well and happy, to continue to study the suttas, to be happy and bring happiness to others. We radiate loving kindness, we brighten up this house, this family with loving kindness, bless them. And all these people in this neighborhood too. And now we send out our loving kindness to all our loved ones, our families, wherever they are. May they be well, may they be happy. And finally, through the power of the three jewels, we send out our loving kindness to all those who are still seeking the truth, who are still uncertain of themselves. May they see the true Dhamma in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.